Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, it's been such a long time, as always, but let's get into it. So, transformations in shonen anime. What's the best way to actually introduce them into your story and the reason why? So, I'm trying to answer that. For me, obviously, there's three main points that I have to think about. First one is the design, second one is the reason, and the third one is the consequence. So as for the design, you have to incorporate what you did for the original design of your OC or main character for the story or side character, and then take it to the next level. Let's say maybe you're designing, as for me, like in my series, there's this girl who's based off an axolotl. So I have to take her design and incorporate some of the animal characteristics of the axolotl into her design, right? Sure, and then what supernatural things can I add into that design? So right about now, I'm trying to search for some of the, what do you call it, like, yeah, footage of me actually drawing this. So I'm gonna add two splash arts or whatnot. Like these recent days, I have been designing like the full-on in my series Inkbound, our main character is Ziwe. Ziwe is like a reincarnated version of a god. That god I won't specify, but she essentially is like the avatar. If you all have watched The Last Airbender, you know what the avatar is. So see, instead of like 4 elements, she has 7 of them, and then each element will change her physically and personality wise. So the one that I'm drawing right now is like the 4th element, which was based off of I based all of these transformations on gods. So this one I don't quite remember. No, it was based off Solotl, who is like an Aztec god who was the god of lightning and fire. His main motif is like a dog design. So for this one, I wanted to incorporate something that looked animalistic in the way that she moved, and then obviously incorporating the element of fire, which is like the main driving force between for her powers and attacks and everything. And then the other aspect would be lightning. That one I did not want it to hinder that much. So for now, I'm just going to incorporate it as in that form. She has rapidly increased speed. So yeah, that's one way of doing it. So I have covered the design, I've covered the reason, and I've also covered like the consequence of that. So the consequence of each transformation is that she no longer acts the way that she usually does. So it's like a light thing to add on her, because it's like, okay, sure, maybe she's finding an opponent she wanted to capture so she could interrogate, but due to her newfound transformation, that might not be the goal during that. She might want to off them and be like, yo, I want you out of my sight. And you know, after the fight, there's like mental consequence of like, yo, I wanted information from this guy, but he's gone now, you know. And then maybe in some of the other transformations, I'll add like a physical change. Let's say maybe I add a power that's based off Hel, who's like, you know, Hela from Norse mythology. She was like the god of decay and poison, I think, and was obviously the queen of the underworld. Let's say that when she used that power, certain parts of her, whatever, like let's say she was making, I don't know, bro, clusters of like poison claws or whatnot, scratch. And then after the fight, her hand would start to manifest some decay due to that power. So that's another physical drawback from it. So obviously super gassed up for the power, but instead like she gets, you know, eroded as it is. So yeah, that's just everything that I would see that you should take note of when making shonen transformations for the characters, and you know, play around with just incorporating them to the story. Like maybe add that certain design element that's like really like repetitive, like we've been seeing it throughout the series. And then like similar to Naruto, his whole changing of like his transformations, the seal thing that was on his stomach, that thing was like incorporated into, you know, like the Uzumaki clan's main motifs and everything. So when you see that, you have to click, oh yeah, so Uzumaki did that, you know, blah blah blah. And then another one that's very prominent, I would say, like in Bleach, um, Ichigo using the hollow mask. At first, we thought it was a cool um, transformation, but it turns out that it was changing him into a hollow, so that was bad. He had to switch up and change that. And obviously, you can go the classic round of like Dragon Ball Z, like there's no consequence, just the power up that character gets, and they keep on getting them here and there. So yeah, that's everything I'll say is of note. You will see that pretty rusty on the content making, but it's fine. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you all did, leave a like, comment, and obviously subscribe for more content. And yeah, see y'all in the next one. So, signing out.